Joyfully Empowered is about feeling uplifted, inspired, and connected to your intuition. This is the place where dreams are possible, cups are half full, and community is solid. Topics include spirituality, leadership, feminine wealth, intuition, manifestation, and our sacred work. This is where bold self starters come to refill their je ne sais quoi to continue spreading a little magic to the world. I am Stephanie Verchot, a spicy Latina mom, and relentless about supporting people achieving their dreams by following their intuition while igniting their feminine wealth. Welcome to Joyfully Empowered, my friends. This is the first episode of 2025. And I'm so excited to be behind this mic and recording here for you all because, I started this podcast 3 months ago, maybe. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. And in my very, usual self, one day I had bought the mic literally like a year ago and just little things, piecing up. I was piecing them up for a few months. And yeah, and then about 3, 4 months ago, I came into the office and I'm like, today is the day. And I hit record, and it's been such a gift to be able to, like, for myself, to be this creative expression of who I am. I remember as I was talking about it with my business coach, on like, what's the strategy behind the podcast? I am a business owner, and like all the activities should lead typically traditionally to some sort of result or some sort of like sales lead or something like that. And I said, no, I want this to be a creative expression of how I'm feeling. Yes, if I have a product launch or a service or something that I want to talk about, obviously I'm going to talk about it, but I want to remove the sometimes the pressure that we get to be like, this has to lead to a specific result, and just let it be a blank canvas for creativity and creative expression. And that has taken out the pressure of like, having to achieve a certain type of result and really being fun and playful and joyful, which has created this level of consistency and commitment, because I get to interview people that I find, really exciting and fascinating, that I'm learning from them, they're learning from me. We get to have an awesome conversation. I get to have these solo episodes like we're going to do today, where I get to share where my heart is or something that I'm experiencing or processing. And it's just been awesome. And I definitely plan to continue releasing these weekly. I even did an episode all in Spanish with my sister, and go check it out. It was awesome. I'm going to bring another guest this month to do just like a completely Spanish episode. I think it's important to also open up this podcast to the Spanish speaking Latino community. So anyways, there are a lot of plans, but today I want to keep it in the theme that I've done before, which is called living in flow, which is a little bit of like a diaries and letting what's been going on. I also want to share a brand new program. This idea came to me about 3 months ago, and it was like an epiphany of sorts. And I've been steadily and consistently working with it over the past few months, and it's here and it's arrived and it's ready to be birthed into the world. So I will share that. And let's get it started. So, just as a reminder, as always, this is being live recorded from New York City. So if you hear sirens or honks or any of that awesome, vibrant background and sounds, just know that that's the case. So January 11th, this is when I'm recording this. We got back from vacation last week, and it was really nice. So we spent Christmas here in New York City as a family, and it was super sweet. I feel like I've said this a lot of 2024, but Dylan Joy, my daughter, is 2. She's actually turning 3 next month. And in 2024, I really enjoyed that every season I got the opportunity, the luxury, of really doing everything for the season. I love living in seasonal in a seasonal city, right? Where there's like spring, summer, fall, winter. Like I love it. And if I think about all the activities we did last year, they were so seasonal. Like spring and summer, it was like Central Park and playing at the water parks and, running around the city, going to like, taking the ferry, going to fairs, doing picnics at the park, bringing her bathing suit to all the little water parks around the city, like going to swim class, going to the beach. It was just such a fun summer. And then fall was so fall. Like we went pumpkin picking. We had our little like forest school that we do in Central Park, and they get to like see the leaves turn and, shift in the weather and, different things that she's wearing. We got to really embrace fall. And then, winter, Christmas, holiday season came, and it was awesome. Like we went to a Christmas village. She tried ice skating for the first time. That was such a funny story because we get to this Christmas village and there's like Santa and like all the things, and we're not sharing as a family like the traditional Santa story, and some of you might be rolling your eyes, but or not. Maybe you're like, cool, I respect it. So obviously she is aware of Santa and we talk about Santa, but we're not doing the full on Santa comes down the chimney and he brings you gift or all of that. It's very much just like a fictional character, just like the Little Mermaid or any of the Disney characters. Like, she knows he exists and the awareness of that. But like, yeah, I don't know if kids are not the other Santa story. Anyways, we go to the Santa village and there's an ice skating rink. And she's 2.5, she was like 2 and 7 months. And she's like, Mama, I want to go ice skating. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so little. Like, do they even have ice skates, that size? But I was excited. She was excited. And okay, so we go to the front. They do have her size. We get on the ice skates. They have those little like safeguards, that you can hold yourself. And as soon as she puts, and the thing is, like, we know what ice skating feels like, right? It's like slippery and it's like not super stable unless you know what you're doing. And, if it just feels funny. So, like, we know what it is. She has no idea because she's never done it before. So, as soon as she puts her ice skates on the ice skating rink, does not like it, right? She's like, Mama, I don't like it. Like, let's get off. She's like nervous and, not like full on crying, but it's like, no, 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 no. This is what I thought it was. So I like picked her up and I held her so tight. And I said, little girl, we're going to try this, right? When you're new and when we're doing something for the first time, it can feel scary and it can feel odd and it can feel weird and it's not what we expect. But we are strong, we are courageous, we can do anything. And because that's our little affirmation that we tell each other all the time. We say, I am strong. I am brave. I am courageous. I can do anything. And we say that to each other all the time. So I tell her that. I'm like, remember, we are strong, we are courageous, we are brave, we can do anything. And it's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but I am here with you. We're in this together. We're going to do one round, right? Around the rink. If by the end of the round you don't like it and you say, Mama, this isn't what I thought it was, and whatever else you feel, we'll get off, but we have to give it a try. So she looked at me and her little eyes were still like a little nervous. And she said, okay, mommy. So I like put her down. She grabbed the little, safeguards and like 1 foot at a time, she started tiki. And I was like right behind her. Before like 10 steps or whatever, this girl was thriving. Okay. If I tell you that we were on that ice skating rink for an hour and a half, I would not be exaggerating. Like at certain points, she let go of the safe rails and she started to ice skate on her own. Obviously, it would be like 2, 3 steps, and then she would like lose a little bit of her balance, and I would be right there. But she was thriving, and that story is etched into my heart because and then I'll share our holiday and I will connect all the dots. But it's etched into my heart because if you've listened to the podcast or you follow me on Instagram or read my newsletters or any of the things, and if you don't, like basically Q4 of last year, starting really September, like September ish, was really tough, right? Like all the things that I had built my business in the past 8 years, little by little, were crumbling down. And at the beginning, I was so scared, right? Like certain contracts were ending or changing. Certain clients were like, thanks, Steph. This was great work. I'm going to go try it on my own. And, certain things were just like the stability started, financially stability. And even more than that, like my clients and part of my, like, they were just like finding their groove or they were shifting directions, like anything that's like very natural in the cycle of being a business owner and owning a business. And at the beginning, I was really, really scared. And I'm like, oh wow, like how is this all gonna work out? And when I was telling her that and then reflecting a few weeks later, where I said at the beginning it can be hard and it can be uncomfortable and it can feel like you're not stable and planted into the ground. But like give it a go, right? Like you can't just not try it because it feels scary. Because at the beginning, all beginnings, there's gonna be a level of fear and uncertainty. But trust yourself, right? And you have your community, like in that case, like I was telling her, you have me. But for me, it's like I have my community, I have her, I have my family, I have my husband, I have clients that are amazing and friends. And I needed to hear that message. Even though I was telling her, that was a message that I needed to hear in that moment, knowing that I was starting something new too. So I'll share what I've started, what I'm starting. Let me share with you a little bit of how we ended December, um and then we'll get into today's, revelation reveal. So we did the Christmas Village. She loved ice skating. I promised her I would take her back. So we're gonna go back to the ice skating rink. We're not doing Rockefeller because it's so tiny and it's so crowded, but there are a few around the city that we're gonna go. And but we spent Christmas here. We baked cookies. We like went to all of there was like an ice a tree lighting ceremony in Central Park that we did. We went to Rockefeller. We went to the Bryant Park holiday little fair that they have, which is awesome. Highly recommend if you haven't been before. Book your tickets for next year. I think it starts early December, or like I think it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, and it's just so fun. There's also an ice skating rink in Bryant Park, and it's beautiful. We did like ornaments with one of our friends. I invited like her besties and all their moms, who I've become really good friends with, to our house, and we did like gingerbread houses. And it was just such a beautiful holiday. And Christmas was awesome. We opened presents. And then, for New Year's Eve in like in Venezuela, where I'm from, and I think a lot of like Latin cultures, we eat 12 grapes. And the idea is you eat a grape for each month of the upcoming year, and then you make a wish. What I used to do too when I was little that I actually forgot this year, also because I'm in bed at like 8 o'clock with Dylan Joy. But what we also do is you grab a backpack and you fill it up with cash and you cross the street. And it's like symbolizing that obviously there's financial wealth coming and you'll travel a lot in the upcoming year. So that's another really fun one. So we had New Year's Eve. One of my really good friends that I've known for like over 20 years, she came, she visited. Shout out to Stella. And I made lasagna. And it was just like a really wholesome, beautiful, delicious, delightful holiday season. And then December 1st, we like woke up, got on the plane, and we went to Canada. And this is the second year we've done that with my whole family. It was 22 of us in this trip. There was like my one of my sisters and her husband that couldn't make it, but their kids were there. And we were there for like 4 days. And it was so fun. I grew up skiing. My dad's Swiss, and I probably didn't ski for like, I skied all growing up. I tried snowboarding. My dad, growing up, when I wanted to try snowboarding, he's like, you need to learn how to ski and then you can do whatever you want. He's like a ski purist. He's like an OG skier. Like I challenge anybody to ski with my dad in any mountain and he would still be better than you. My dad is an amazing skier. He's just so humble about it. Like he'll ski with us in like the easier slopes. And but yeah, awesome. But I hadn't skied in a few years. And then I picked it up again last year 2 years ago when we went to Canada. And it's really true what they say. It's like riding a bicycle. So I skied and we did it again this year. And it was so fun. I skied with Dwayne and the two of us. We had such a good time. There was a kids club. So Dylan Joy stayed at the kids club. If we go back next year, then she was too little to start skiing. I mean, you could start at any age. I didn't feel comfortable her skiing with me. And the kids club, you have to be 4 until you can start skiing. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna go back next year. And if so, like I definitely want her to try that. She wanted to do it. So we were there until like the 5th or the 6th of January. So it was really nice to be like the first week of the year on this awesome, beautiful resort with like my entire family and all my nieces and my nephews and my little girl and my husband and my parents. And it's just like a really wholesome, fun, joyful way to start the year. We got back and we are back in business. So a few things I stopped doing resolutions per se, but I do have like goals and habits and things that I want to shift. And that's something that I allow the month of January to iron out. I remember like in so many years before, I would be like, January 1st, I'm going to start working out 7 days a week or not drink or like these very extreme things that I used to do growing up. And even probably through like my 20s, where now I'm like, oh, there are certain things that I want to incorporate in my life but I'm going to allow the month of January to like marinate and for it to have like space to breathe, right? It doesn't feel like I need to start doing all the things now. So, for example, we have like a few meals on rotation that we've had probably like the past year. So I'm like, okay, I want to swap out those meals to have like another 8 to 10 meals on rotation. So I want to make sure that I start figuring out like they're still easy, but you have to get into the habit of like cooking new things and trying new things. So that's one thing. I definitely want to be very, and this is like, it feels like probably so small and silly, but I want to I take really good care of my teeth, and yet I still have like a cavity or a root canal, even though like I floss and I do all the things. So I want to continue taking care of my teeth. I got retainers earlier just because I grind my teeth so much and I haven't really been using them. So I want to get more consistent with my retainers. I want to be like a mandatory, non-negotiable flossing at least once a day, but if not twice a day. Like I think just like gum and teeth health is so important. Oil pulling, which I used to do so much, and then I stopped. And I think I stopped. Oil pulling is when you swish in your mouth coconut oil, and it helps with like your microbiome. It helps with like all the bacteria in your mouth, and you do it first thing in the morning when you wake up. You put like half of a teaspoon in your mouth, and then you swish, swish, swish while you like take a shower or make your breakfast or whatever it is. Probably like 10 minutes or so. And it's an Ayurvedic practice, and it's just really good overall for your system, your health, your gum teeth, your teeth, your gum health, your teeth health. If you do it though, make sure that you do not spit the oil into the sink. You want to spit it into either your garbage or into like a paper towel and then throw it away because it can definitely like clog up the sink. So I started doing oil pulling again religiously every day, and I love it. There is this shamanic drums meditation that I listen to in the morning while I'm visualizing my next goal that I've been really consistent with. And working out is the other thing. Like I go through periods, and I think that's normal where I'm like in the gym 3 times a week, like lifting. And in in the holiday, I kind of dropped it. So I want to start again. I walk a lot. So I'm not really like a treadmill girly in this season of my life because I walk about, I don't know, 12 to 15,000 steps, maybe a little bit less now in the winter because I'm taking the bus a little bit more often, but I definitely hit my 10,000 a day. So I don't need the treadmill, but I think weightlifting, I really like, I'm comfortable with it. I got like a little rotation that I can do on my own and I really enjoy it. So there are certain things that I want to incorporate. And I was going to say, oh, and the last thing, which I did it yesterday and it was so nice, is just literally laying on the couch. Like my husband at the end of last year, he's like, babe, I would love to see you sitting down more. And I'm like, what do you mean? I sit down. No, I don't sit down. Okay. Like from the time I wake up, it's like da da da, running, breakfast, come back, do dinner, clean up, da da da, do the lunches. like he's really good at helping, not even helping, he's really good at his portion of all of like household chores. Like he pretty much cooks every dinner, he does dishes like every dinner and twice a day. And but he, and I think like guys are, yeah, I think guys in our society are so much more comfortable to like sitting. I told him the other day, I was like, I wish I loved football as much as you do, because it feels like you sit and you can like really detach and like enjoy the game. And I'm like, I love that idea. For me, that's like reading a book. So I picked up reading up. So I want to sit more. Like maybe I did it yesterday. We had ballet in the morning, then we went to Trader Joe's. I got home and I was so tired. And I laid on the couch and I started watching a Hallmark movie. Dylan Joy was like playing with Jenga. Dwayne was like finishing a little bit of work. And I was like laying there enjoying it with like the Christmas tree on the background for maybe like an hour. So I looked at him and I said, see, starting the new year, laying and relaxing a little bit more. And he started laughing. He's like, doesn't that feel so good? I'm like, it really does. So I want to do that more. And reading. So I love to read, and there's always something on my Kindle, but I love the idea of like a thick actual book. And I stopped doing the books when Dylan was a little bit younger, because they go through the phase where they want to like grab everything. She went through like little goat phase where she was like putting all the paper in her mouth. So I started doing Kindle while she was falling asleep. And I love that, but I want her to see me read. I want her to see me work out. I want her to see me do things that I usually do when she's sleeping. And I'm like, I want her to see me doing yoga and stretching and things that she can remember. Like, oh, my mom does that. I remember watching my mom doing these things like singing and dancing and certain things that are important for me. So I had a friend and her goddaughter that were in town. Shout out to Vicky and Dejana over the holiday. And Dejana is like a huge avid reader. She has like a book club, all the things. So we went to the Barnes and Noble right here in Fifth, and we're walking by. She wants to get a book, and I was like, Dejana, I need a new book. And I'm like, I want it light and fun and playful. And she's like, start with this one. So it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I read it in about 10 days. The last day I read it, I stayed up until like 3 in the morning. This was like earlier this week. It is so good. It is so fun. It is so playful. So if you're wanting to pick up a book, go get The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and highly, highly recommend it. So she recommended me a few more books. So I will pick another one. I love the idea of like reading a book a month. I know that's like, you know, you hear that a lot, but that seems like perfect. And a combination of like fiction and personal growth and like business love. So I'm feeling great for the new year. I am actually, I loved 2024. Like it taught me so much. I grew so much. I experienced like deep grief in my heart. I experienced like deep joy. It was like a really full, complex, hard year in many ways. And 2024 is going to be one of those years for me that I will never forget. Like some years I'm like, I have no idea what happened I'm thinking like, I don't know, 2014, like I don't really remember. Like I moved to New York in 2012. That's a big year. I know like 2008 was a big year because it was like the first year that I started working, and like the whole economy exploded. So a lot of people got fired. I remember that year. There are certain, obviously 2017, when I got married, there's like sets, and I quit my job and I started my business. Like there are certain years that you're like, oh yeah, that year, 2019, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm sure I could tell you things, but it wasn't like a 2020, you remember the pandemic. 2024 is going to be one of the years I'm like, yep, 2024. Like that's the year that there was a ton of release, a ton of change, a ton of growth, a ton of grief. Like, whew. So 2025, I'm excited. I think it's a year of expansion, a year of growth, but also a year of like less and like simplicity and slowing down. So I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. So having said that, I'm so excited to, just like the way what I'm visualizing right now, it's like literally opening up, when you open up the pages of like a new journal and it's like crispy and it has like the new journal smell and it's like fresh and it's like clean and the pages are like ready for whatever you want to put in them. Like that's just like anchor in that energy, right? Visualizing opening up your first, not your first, but like a brand new journal of sorts, whatever that journal is for you. And you have your pens and you're like, this is the new beginning. So with that beautiful, fresh, new, clean, organized energy, I am so excited, so honored to share with you that today the Feminine Wealth Collective is here. And as I share that publicly out loud, like I've talked about it here and there, but like here it is. The Feminine Wealth Collective is here. And yes, I'm so excited. So, this is a space where self starters become unstoppable trailblazers by embracing their power and by igniting feminine wealth, their feminine wealth. This idea came to me about 3 months ago, and I was here at the office working, and it landed on my crown chakra, like on my third eye. And I have not been able to shake it off. And good, like I shouldn't. This is all I'm doing this year, right? I'm doing Feminine Wealth Collective, I'm doing private coaching. So if you want to work with me one on one or like with like having access to me, private one-on-one coaching, I'm going to open up a few spots, and Feminine Wealth Collective, which is like a group membership program. Like that's all I want to do. Yes, I have like corporate partnerships and corporate wellness, and I'm doing that kind of stuff, but this is where it's at. I do have my self-paced courses, which you can always check them on my website. But if you want to get Steph energy one-on-one live, private coaching, Feminine Wealth Collective. So let me tell you about Feminine Wealth Collective. So this is first of all like for the bold women that want to step into the Cleopatra, which she has been like such a channel for me in this. If you want to step into your Cleopatra archetype, right? And this is like Cleopatra's like, Cleopatra. She's like a woman of vision. She's unapologetically pursuing wealth, which I want to talk specifically about feminine wealth and legacy, right? While honoring her feminine essence, right? She's ambitious, but intuitive and also balancing strategy with soul, with purpose. Okay. So feminine wealth is living intuitive, is creating legacy, is yes, making money and overflow abundances of money, but also honoring who you are and having balance with your life, right? As I was developing this program, I discovered and I created the 7 pillars of feminine wealth that I want to share with you today, right? So, in this program, as we meet and we are together every single month live, we're going to focus on one pillar a month, right? And this is for you, this is your path if you're ready to like take command of your time and your energy, but also feeling like with grace and confidence, right? You want to build a legacy that aligns with your deepest desire and your purpose, right? You want to step into your sovereignty and who you are and like claim your throne at home, at the office as a founder. Because I want to make a note. This is for stay at home parents. This is for founders. This is for small business owners. This is for executives. This is for those who have an idea and who are ready to launch it, but they're feeling like, okay, I need structure. I need to know how to make this happen, right? So each month, we are going to dive into the 7 pillars of feminine wealth. And the 7 pillars are, listen to this. The first one is financial freedom. And like, of course, financial freedom is part of feminine wealth because we want to make sure that we are feeling in overflow and abundance when it comes to our finances, right? And want to make sure that there's stability and independence. So with our investments, with our savings, with our budget, with our checking account, like we want to make sure that all of that is stable, it's growth, it's in overflow. If you're thinking like, you don't know me or my job or what I make, I want you to put a pin on it and know that the possibilities exist within you. because you are a manifester. You're here to manifest and create the life that you're designing and that you're wanting. And this is your year to set the foundation so that never gets wobbly no matter what happens. The second pillar is self and sensuality, right? And this is where you really get to honor and define and discover your true identity and your desires. Because some of you might be like, that's too big, or who am I to have those dreams, right? Or I don't, my family didn't come from that, or I don't know anybody that has done it. And or I'm embarrassed that I want these things, right? So this is where you get to know yourself and you get to define who you are and what you want and really nurture that inner strength, so you lead a life that is fulfilling and authentic and in like overflow, while also knowing how to manage challenges and things that are happening in your life. The third pillar is spiritual alignment, right? And this is really establishing a connection with a higher purpose, with your intuition, with your higher self, right? And it's like really developing a practice that whether involves like, meditation, but some sort of like mindfulness practice or ritual that grounds you and supports you and having a really strong spiritual connection. When I went through that phase last year that I was going through a really hard time and I felt like everything was wobbling here on earth, on like what the 3D world, I was like, I am so thankful that I have such a strong spiritual alignment connection, because if I did not, it would have been a really different 3 months, right? Like I stayed anchored in who I am and my energy because I had that alignment, that connection with my intuition, with my higher self. And that's something that's critical to anybody, right? And being able to, for you to be your own support system when things feel really hard and also when things are awesome. The next pillar is personal growth, right? And this really falls into you being ready to invest in the Feminine Wealth Collective, right? Because you are investing in your knowledge, in your skills, in your self-awareness. So in this pillar, we're going to talk about mindset and really building a strong sense of purpose that cannot be shattered no matter what's going on around your life. The next pillar is health and vitality, right? Like if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right? So you want to focus on your physical well-being, your mental clarity, your overall energy levels as an individual. So what are those self-care practices that you want to instill in your life, right? What are the things that you're like, this is a non-negotiable? And not because if I don't do it, I'm not good enough, or if I fail, there's shame, but because you want to have vitality. You don't want to be surviving, but you want to be thriving and have every ounce of energy being poured back into your body so you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve without burning out. That is like that grind is so 2019. You know what I mean? The next pillar is relationships and connection, right? So I know in my life, like for me, everything is together. When I'm having an argument with my husband, I feel like everything is down the crapshoot, right? Or if I have like a something happening with one of my friends, I'm like, oh, I need to talk to her because everything otherwise feels off. Like I'm not able to compartmentalize. But also, relationships are hard, and you're gonna have disagreements with your partner, with your friends, with like teachers, just the world. So how do you really nurture healthy relationships that both act as like emotional support for whatever you're experiencing, but you're able to have conflict resolution, right? You're able to have conversations that are hard, but that are also invigorating for both you and the person that you're having this connection with, right? The second to last is creative expression, and I started the episode talking a little bit about how this podcast for me is creative expression. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, what are your creative outlets for you to self express? Like, maybe you take a cooking class once a month. Maybe you subscribe to like a pottery class. Maybe you start a podcast or you start painting. Like, what are these things that are like a genuine fulfillment for you to work on outside of your work, being a mom, your career? Like what is this one thing, like learning? I know that my energy worker, I love her, shout out to Julia, she picked up learning how to do, like, I think it was like acrylics, or learning how to do gel, like learning how to do some type of manicure, like that, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing to do, has nothing to do with anything, but something that she's like, I want to get really good at this, and I want to stay focused on one hobby, and this is like creativity and expression for me, right? So in that month, we're gonna dive deep into like, how do I figure out what my hobby is, what I want to do, and how do I make time to make sure that I can do this weekly or monthly or daily. So I am creating my art, whatever that means, every single day. And last but not least is impact and contribution, right? In feminine wealth, giving back and contributing to the world, to the community, to causes that align with your personal values is a non negotiable, right? So, what does that mean? Like maybe you volunteer at a food, what is it? Oh my gosh, at a food kitchen, for homeless people once a week, or maybe once a month you go play with like orphans, or maybe you, like, I know I did this years ago, like I got certified to be a um volunteer in Central Park. Not everybody, you have to go through like this little program, and then you can help Central Park like paint the benches or pick up trash or like help with gardening and planting the trees and all these things, right? So how are you contributing back to the world and creating a positive influence that then becomes a ripple effect? And those are the 8 pillars of feminine wealth. And that's something that we are going to be doing inside the Feminine Wealth Collective. The other thing that I want to add is you're going to get a digital, like 90-day feminine wealth planner, because I want to divide the year into 90 days. And this is like 90 days, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, like January through March, April, June, July, like August in the summer, basically seasonal. And this is something that I've done for years in my business mastermind with my clients. And I want to bring this to the Feminine Wealth Collective because I have seen how powerful this is. There's a saying that it says sometimes we, what is it, like overestimate what can happen, or underestimate what can happen in a year and overestimate what can happen in like 10 years. And sometimes we like that gets in the way. So I want to make sure that you're super clear, like this is what I'm doing in 90 days, and this is the project that I'm taking to do inside the 90 days while you're inside the Feminine Wealth Collective. You're also going to get 15% discounts to any work with me or my classes. You are going to have accountability, so you're able to stay on top of your goals. We're going to have access to an exclusive community, which is us talking to each other and pumping each other. You also get access to Align and Abundant, which is a self-paced course that I designed. It's like the introduction to the Feminine Wealth Collective. We have live classes once a month that'll probably be like 75 to 90 minutes. Everything will be recorded. And you also get access to the investment. So the investment is $88 a month. It's an incredible investment. I want this to be generous. I want people to be able to be a part of this community, right? For some of you, might be like, listen, I don't go to a dinner with a friend once a month, or I cut down on my coffee. You will be surprised how much $8 coffees add up versus making a coffee at home. Like, seriously. And for some people, this might be a no brainer, right? Like, where you're at, but I want this to be like a no brainer for you. Like, yes, I am in. Of course, you can cancel anytime, but as long as you are part of like the founding member, which is something I'm doing now, then your price will never go up. So, right now, that's the starting founding investment. It may change, who knows? But as long as you're part of the membership, you will always get the same price point. And in addition, if you enroll by this January 16th, 2025, I hear an ambulance on the back end. Maybe you don't hear it, but that seems that I wanted to give it space. When you enroll by this Thursday, January 16th, you are going to get 2 additional like fun bonuses to just like a thank you for enrolling. There it is. Sending love to whoever that ambulance is going to. You are going to get 2 bonuses that are valued at $132. So if you enroll in January and for whatever reason this isn't what you thought you were, you're basically getting free money, because you'll get these 2 bonuses that are higher than the value of the membership. So it's really a no-brainer. The first one is called Magnetize New Beginnings, and this is my self-paced course to support you and give you all the tools that you need to start a new chapter. So it'll give you the tools to clear the old, embrace the new, and step into the chapter, whether it's a new year, a new month, a new quarter. You can do this anytime you're having a new beginning. This is currently selling and retailing for $44. You're going to get it completely free. And then the second one is unlocking your best life with EFT tapping. This is like my classic EFT tapping course. It has 3 self-paced EFT tapping sessions with me. EFT tapping stands for emotional freedom technique. And it's a technique where you're gently tapping on certain areas in your body to rewire your subconscious so it matches the goals that you want to achieve. The 3 sessions are around transforming your habits, healing your personal relationships, and supercharging your money mindsets. This is currently, if you want to purchase it as if right now, it's $88, and you're also getting it completely for free when you enroll in the Feminine Wealth Collective. I am just super honored that this idea came tapping up my shoulder, like Elizabeth Gilbert says, and it came knocking and tapped on my shoulder. I said, yes, I am ready to co create with you. And it just feels like it feels big, and yet it feels like we're getting back to the basics, right? Of like setting up a foundation for our lives that is beyond our wildest dreams, while also creating a legacy for you and your family, or whatever it is that you want to create in this world, right? It's like these 8 pillars are the foundation. Like, I think the whole idea of, hustle and burning out and like nonstop work culture, like it just doesn't work anymore. It's not sustainable. And I have been like, it's proven my own life that, last year in 2024, when I worked probably like hour wise the least I have ever worked before. It doesn't mean that it wasn't hard work and it wasn't focused work and committed work, but the hour wise is probably the least amount of work that I've done, and I still like tripled my revenue, right? So there's something to be said there. I was able to be present and go to ballet with my daughter and go to swimming lessons and go to mommy and me classes and like music classes and be with her and my family and enjoy what life has to give. And to me, that is feminine wealth, right? Where I'm able to be Latina, to be a mom, to be a business owner, living in New York City, still being able to be present with my daughter and my family, still being able to serve my clients and have incredible transformations. Like I had an email from, I was catching up with a client the other day, and we worked together. I think it was like 2 years ago daily. And daily, like if you love anything like makeup and beauty, like Google Daily Quinn. She's one of my clients. She obviously gave me permission to share this, but I worked with her 2 years ago, maybe. And her initial goal through like her work, her blog, and all the things, I think it was like $500 a month. And I said, girl, hell no. Like, you have to dream bigger. And she's like, Steph, last year I surpassed her first like 6-figure year. She's like, if it wouldn't have been for your support and your like conviction to dream bigger and your knowingness that there was so much bigger in store for me and helping me through my own blocks and limitations, I don't think I could have gone here. And that's part of her feminine wealth. She's like, when I write, I don't get stressed out. I'm on top of my deadlines. Like, and she writes for big publications, like Women's Health and today.com and like Glamour and like all these huge publications. And she's like, I'm able to do it and enjoy everything that I'm doing without it burning out, without feeling stressed. And that is also part of feminine wealth. Like, she just got a puppy and she's like, I can be with my puppy and I can do all these things and enjoy my life and still make a ton of money, but not feel trapped and burned out and feel like I can't enjoy my life. Like, there's so many things that stem from these pillars of feminine wealth that I'm bringing them all together into the Feminine Wealth Collective. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I have a goal, or maybe I don't have a business, but I'm a stay-at-home parent and I want to bring these pillars into my babies, into my family, like, yes, this is for you. If you're an executive and you want to continue climbing the corporate ladder, but sometimes you're like a little wobbly when it comes to asking for a raise or a promotion or showing up into the conference room feeling fully confident, but it's time, this is also for you, right? If you're a founder, a business owner, like I work with business owners, with founders that are like in the $1 million revenue a year. They're super successful. And I'm still talking to them about feminine wealth pillars, right? Like, this applies to all, no matter how big you're dreaming or no matter how like simple and like whatever your dreams, your goals are, the principles that I teach inside the Feminine Wealth Collective will apply and will transform your life. I want you to be magnetic. I want you to be in overflow. I want you to be wealthy, not just in your bank account, but in all areas of your life, and feel confident and feel like settled and sure and like radiant in who you are as a person. So there it is, my friends. I have loved sharing this update with you. I have loved sharing a little bit of like behind the scenes of how my 2024 was and the seasons and Christmas, and also sharing what I'm planning to do this year. So I will add the links to the Feminine Wealth Collective in the show notes. If you're listening to this before January 16th, 2025, you will get the bonus automatically when you enroll. And our first class is January 23rd. This is an ode, so I'll probably only share this in the podcast. My mom, I've told you all before, I have two moms. I have my angel mom and I have my earth mom. Right. My angel mom transitioned, passed away when I was a baby. Alessia, I love her so much. I just get chills when I think about her. I'm actually wearing two of her necklaces today. She had the best jewelry taste. One more ambulance. And I inherited all of her jewelry. So I love you, mama. But her birthday is on January 23rd. So we are doing we're officially launching the Feminine Wealth Collective on January 23rd as a little wink and a nod and a kiss and a hug and all the good things to my mama for always just being like the most amazing supporter in the non-physical realm that brought me here to earth. So I love you all so much, and I am so excited for 2025. I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited. I am energized. I'm like bubbling up, and yes. All the blessings, all the good things, all the love, all the feminine wealth, all the wealth, and have an incredible rest of the week. If you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram at Stephanie for show. I'm happy to respond whatever questions you may have, and may you follow your joy always and in all ways.